And I heard that you had always wanted to play a cop.
Yeah. Well, because no one looks at me and thinks, cop. and someone did.
I was going to start with like a joke about the dulcimer. That was just the most beautiful thing in the world. Are people just expecting that of you now?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But I got more secrets to reveal as time goes on.
Oh my God, that was an amazing performance, though, I have to say. Like,
Thanks.
Even when I was watching that, I was just kind of like, is there anything this woman can't do?
Well, you made me learn the English horn. So
I did do
I
that.
think you kind of weren't as surprised. You're like, yeah, well, she... What did Mickey do in the book? I forget.
She wanted to be a history teacher.
Right, boring.
Yeah.
Add the English horn, but it was effective, especially for me as an actor.
Yeah. No, I feel like the musician thing did, elevate it, and it gave you something to do, gave you something to play.
Yeah, there's always a lot of changes that need to happen between book to series. So
that was one of them.
She's the one that.
Wait, then why don't we just start with that? Like, this is such an interesting situation because we have Liz Moore, who is a, wildly successful
Oh my God, she's
author.
amazing.
And this is her first time writing television.
Yep.
What did you have to teach her about screenwriting, and what did you learn from her working with a novelist?
I mean, it's amazing how gifted she is in pretty much everything that she puts her mind to. So I didn't, I feel like she was very, very open. I feel like we had early conversations about what we wanted to preserve about the book, the soul, the spine of the story. And we were always sort of on the same page about it. So it made it really easy when we got into conversations about how we were going to adapt it, the things that we were going to preserve, the things that we might step away from in taking it from book to screen. We were always sort of like on the same page. And I think that it was just about being open to having conversations sort of ad nauseum about what was important and which would sort of just guide us in, episode 1 through 8.
How much of the book is right there up front that you teased out in the show? And I guess I'm speaking to the central conflict between your character and her sister. Is that something that reveals itself later in the book, or is that?
Well, I mean, in our series, the fact that that Mickey and Casey are sisters is something that's revealed over the course of the first episode, whereas in the book you know that right from sort of the get-go. And so Liz and I just talked about this idea of, because Mickey was this really, really internal character, it was a nice way of bringing out something that she wouldn't say to everybody, which was that her sister was missing, right? And so it was a nice way to sort of hang a hat on the fact that she was internal, that she wasn't going to be forthcoming, and then to have this really, really poignant emotional reveal come out in the course of the episode.
When the project was announced, you were both a part of it, but clearly there was a chronology beforehand. Who courted who?
You courted me.
Hells yeah.
It was nice to be courted.
I ain't stupid.
We were doing, it was the strike was.
Yeah, it was right post, it was literally post-strike. We totally courted her,
Thank God.
Full court press, super excited. Number one, we went to her, and thank God she responded to our material. She listened to the book. We sent her, I believe, the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then we had a conversation with her, and there was just something so lovely, and there's something so lovely about Amanda, because she's just raw and just puts it out there, and she doesn't want to be going through reps, and she doesn't want to be doing things. She just wants to have an open conversation, and it made everything really, really easy and a really just a wonderful dialogue.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. Like you had been working on it for a long time. I didn't know how long, but I knew it was like a passion project, and I knew you'd spent a lot of years honing in on what it was that that made the story so special, and like weeding out all the stuff that you would do as a showrunner. It's just there's a lot. I mean, I could never do what you do. But when it was ready, it was ready for me, and so it was easy to sink my teeth into. It was so nice to jump into something that had been so heavily cared for, and it was so grounded. And I mean, the book was so grounded, but it's really hard to translate books to TV. It just is. But you know how to do that really well, and you had the blessing of the writer, and you had the writer with you the whole time. So it was ready for me. And so that's a lucky thing.
Yeah. And I heard that you had always wanted to play a cop.
Yeah. Well, because no one looks at me and thinks, cop. and someone did. But because it's not a cop show, it's a show about a human being with a kid and generational trauma who's like kicking herself, subconsciously every day, but, trying her best. Like most of us, we're just not necessarily making the best decisions all the time, but we're trying our best. And this is a human story. She happens to be a cop.
Yes.
So I get to play somebody with the uniform. The uniform is transformative. It really is. Daniel Day-Lewis always talks about those fucking shoes, and he's right.
Yeah.
The uniform just goes 10,000 miles more.
So did this scratch the itch, or do you want to play a cop again?
No, I'm good. No, I'm kidding. Long Bright River season 2. I get promoted to detective. No, I would totally play a cop again. I respect the job, and I love portraying the good ones.
Yeah.
If it's a person who's interesting and a role that I haven't done before, and they happen to be a cop, of course.
I mean, it's interesting what you said about it, because the cop is the secondary thing for you and the character, which obviously it should be. But the selling point of a show like this, not to disparage any studio or platform, is serial killer, missing sister. So what are the discussions about like how like our true north is still character, and then like getting into like the opioid crisis and corrupt cops? Like there's a lot of heavy themes and a lot of like deep like trauma character work here.
I think what was so unique to me when I read Liz's beautiful novel was this idea that there was this love story between these two sisters that was juxtaposed against this murder mystery. And in order to solve not only the murder mystery, but her sister's disappearance, this character had to reflect on their collective past and her role in their estrangement. And it was only when she confronted that was she able to sort of find the way to sort of to solve all of these things. So I think that was sort of made it so unique and grounded it. And yes, it does have all of these like heavy themes and things that are sort of governing it, but it's a story about humanity and empowerment and about an underserved community like taking their power back. And so I think that for us, like the North Star was always about how our main character, Mickey, saw this world, right? Which was with humanity and compassion and not and chose to reflect on the humanity versus the horror.
Was it different for you when you were acting in the police uniform and then when you were plainclothes? Like, did you like acknowledge that like internally? Did it affect anything?
Oh, that's a good question. There's just this responsibility that is. You can feel a sense of responsibility when you're wearing a uniform such as this, where it's just the people in the real world who wear this uniform are there to serve and protect, and the good ones do that. Mm-hmm. So yes, I am portraying the good kind of cop, the cop who gives a shit And it's powerful. It's very powerful. And funny enough, like, that didn't go away when I went back into plainclothes. I think it's just because Mickey's a cop.
Yeah.
But whether she wants to be or not, I mean, she's a cop for better or for worse, you know, and it serves her as well, because she can look after her sister. She can help support a community that she feels very close to. And it didn't make a difference in the end. Like, Mickey was still a cop, even though she was in plain clothes. She was still investigating. Like, she never takes that badge. She never puts that badge on her nightstand, like, emotionally. Yeah. And I think that's beautiful about her, but it's also, like, kind of harmful. I mean, she's not a well person. she's in the midst of a struggle and of trauma, and like most of us, you know, hasn't completely gathered the tools yet to be able to know how to deal. But she's doing her best, and, you know, I love portraying somebody who's real.
Yeah. She has it rougher than most of us.
She does. And that's the thing, like, I can relate to her being a mother. I can relate to her feeling the guilt of not being as present as she'd like to be. I can relate to a lot of things, but I can't relate to being a single mother, not knowing if she's going to make sure there's food on the table for her kid, you know, living month to month. I can't relate to that. Yeah. So, like, I want to play people like this because I know that people are going to feel less alone when they watch it. And also, it's just a story about we can all relate to these characters in this show. It's about a specific thing, about a specific group of people, but everyone can relate to aspects of these people, which is why I love making grounded television. I love comedies, don't get me wrong. Can't wait to do one. And especially because it hits home for me with the addiction in my family and being raised close to Philly. This just, like, took the cake. It was like, oh yeah, we're talking about real things.
Yeah.
It's not easy to watch sometimes.
Yeah.
Because it's so real, but it's important.
Yeah.
Like, we don't take any of this lightly.
Yeah.
We make it for a reason.
One of the things that we always talked about, you know, was and I think I spoke to this a little bit earlier, but, like, just the idea of, like, the way that Mickey sees the world, right, is that she is able to see the light in the dark, and that she needs to believe in that sliver of hope that her sister, that her son, that her neighborhood is going to be okay. And even in the way that we shot this, there was a lot of talk about just how we were, you know, from a cinematography standpoint, how we were sort of constructing the frame, and how the light was informing the darkness at all times.
With every female director.
Yes, we did.
I know.
All female directors.
And one special one who we should address.
Who?
I don't know. Is she on stage?
She directed an episode.
Directorial
6,
debut, episode 6. Let's.
I think that was her debut.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
Real time.
This is awkward.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not. She directed. What? I didn't know it was your first.
Yeah.
Sorry, wow.
No, it's all good.
No, she's a fucking pro. She knows what she's doing. Wow. You learn something new every day. Yeah, fucking incredible. I mean, listen, you were leading the whole pack the whole time. You were there every day. But as a director, it was nice because there was no middleman. There was just, like, a direct.
There is something nice about cutting out, like, just being able to be dealing with directly, because as a showrunner, you are there every day, right? And so you are the person that is there every day when the directors are coming, like, in and out. So there was something really, really nice about just having a very, very direct relationship with your cast, and not passing a message along, and
it's rare. It's rare. Yeah, it's really rare.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was.
I know it's funny. It's you watch a show like this, and it's harrowing and exciting, but has its moments of darkness and fear and for these characters. But you always find the levity on set. So when we talk about
You
it,
find the levity on set too.
yeah, I guess we
find-
really had a fun time.
Yeah, Amanda is a wonderful. I'm just saying, if there's anybody in this thing that's wondering,
with
like,
me.
oh my God, should we
You'll have
hire
fun.
Amanda or not, or whatever? Absolutely, like,
Hire
run,
me.
don't walk. She is the best #1 on the planet.
you.
And even though that we were obviously like dealing with some very, very heavy themes, she is just sort of a beacon of light on set, and puts it out for everybody that's like around, and inspires everybody to be bringing their A game, and she's the most generous person in the world. She takes care of our cast and our crew. She got us a food truck every week.
It's essential. You gotta feed people.
It's amazing. Amazing.
No, it was
But-
fun. Everything about it. I love talking about it.
Yeah.
I love doing these screenings because it came out a couple months ago, and it's just the fact that we just get to talk about it. Every interview is just like, listen, if we get to talk about it more, why not? Like, I feel like also more people will see it the more we talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It feels important. And every time we do get like you guys like listening to what we're saying, I don't want it ever to be boring, but it feels nice that, you care.
That people, are showing up
Yeah.
to see the thing that we made.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, this isn't boring. We had a revelation. You didn't know it was her first time directing. This is amazing.
Yeah. What else don't I know?
I feel like you and I have talked about this before. It's easy for you to sort of like shed the material at the end of the day. Like, how different of an experience would this be with someone who had to like live in it for the whole shoot? Like, that's tough, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've both worked with people who've had to live in it.
Yes, I mean, I think that a lot of actors have different processes, and I respect all of those processes, and always try to give like an actor a room to do the thing that they need to do. But there is something, I'm just going to say, in this specific scenario, and that's the only thing that I can speak to here, is that it's really, really nice that when cut was called, that Amanda, reverted to being like lovely, amazing, hopeful Amanda. And there was something just really refreshing about her having just the ability to do that. It's kind of amazing.
I know. Every time I meet an actor who's the same way, I'm just like, oh, great! This is great. It's gonna serve you well. Like Sydney Sweeney's the same way. I would just worked with her, and she was like, we would be looking at a dead body and then cut, and she'd be like, anyway. So I have to show you this picture, and it's just like it's refreshing because we do the work, and then we do the work, and then the cut, like a breath of fresh air. And I'm not saying every scene, requires this amount of like looseness.
Well,
but
and in
it's
particular,
nice.
I was even just like in episode 106, which was a very, very heavy episode with a lot of reveals. I feel like for the first 5 days, Amanda and I were like, "Oh, you're crying in every scene. I'm really sorry that I did that to you, but you were so amazing." And then the moment that cut was called or whatever, we could like take a breath and then refresh, and then she just went back into it.
Tried,
Action. No, you were amazing. Stop.
It's hard. I mean, you can't expect to not hate yourself at least 70% of the time. But you were really.
You can do that as a showrunner as well.
Oh, I know. It's just we hate on each other, on ourselves. But no, it's true. It's you gotta know you gotta have boundaries, I guess, with your character.
Pennsylvania native, Allentown. We talked about how Philly looms large, the Delco accent. We've seen some shows where it featured very prominently, but you and your producing partners decided very early on that was not going to be her character's journey.
I'm going to speak to this really quick.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, just only because it was something that was like in the book, and I feel like sometimes it gets missed in the translation when it came to screen. Like, Mickey is a character who has been an outsider the majority of her life, and whether good or bad, she has chosen to shed her accent. And that was a conscious choice that the character made in the book, whereas Casey, her sister, doubled down on her accent, and where she was from, Mickey had this idea of wanting to rise above her circumstance, which is why she shed her accent and why Amanda did not do that in series. It was not a matter of, sorry.
But also, it's just, it goes to, like, I'm from Allentown, and a lot of people around me have a very specific kind of way of speaking, and it's just like, you go to school, you meet different people. Nobody has a consistency in their accent. Like, it really rarely does that happen. So it actually is more believable when you think of it that way. It's just like, I don't have an accent, and my grandmother speaks very differently than I do. Like, we're from Pennsylvania, Dutch country, and like, there are certain things people say differently than I would, and it's just like, I went to a very inner city school. Like, when a lot of people who go to Catholic school, the teachers from the people that I know have like just made sure that they didn't have an accent. It's just people want things to be very streamlined, and then it's also a choice. Who you hang out with, you tend to mimic, and I think that's how accents come about. It's just who you spend time with. So Mickey spends time with a lot of cops, but also just had a conscious effort to not. And also, thank God, because I didn't want to be targeted for that kind of scrutiny. I loved the fact that Mickey had no accent. It really worked for me.
What is the role that you've done that had like the most dramatic accent work? I'm trying to think.
It's not out yet. I just spent a week fixing it in post, and I'm starting a movie on Monday where I have a Tulsa accent, and I just finished on last Friday, a week ago, in Manchester. So I was talking like this. Like, really, I can't do it anymore. Wow, I've already, it's fucking weird. But I have an ear for it, but it takes me a minute. But when I finally finished the Manchester movie that I did last year after our show, I was not good. I was not good enough when we shot it, and then I fixed it in post, like some sounds.
I don't agree with that, but.
Mother. Oh, I played Mother Ann Lee from Manchester in the 1770s. No, anyway, but we'll see how that turns out. It's better than it used to be. And then the last week I've just been like kind of southern, like Tulsa, and I'm like from McAllister, which is Pittsburgh County, and present day, and I'm about to start that. Wait, what? That sounds terrible. Now I'm just confused. I'll be good come Monday.
Is Manchester the musical?
Yes.
So are you singing in a Manchester accent?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, everyone.
Yeah. It's a fever dream.
Yeah.
And I went straight from Philly Cop into present day.
Yeah, no, the funniest thing too is I was texting Amanda recently, and then she sent me like a video of her in ADR singing, and it's like
so weird.
It's the most amazing thing.
Screaming.
No, but it's the most beautiful screaming I've ever heard in my life, because I was just like, oh my God, she just did this and like taped herself, and then it was insane. It's like honestly
to prove
insane.
How wacky things can get. It is fun. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm just like a little confused right now. But I'll be American again. Sorry, Northern England again.
I don't think
What?
we have much more time, but
Good. Because I'm confused.
One, like, Amy Pascal, absolute legend, executive producer on here. What is an Amy note like?
I mean, I think it's just. I think the breadth of Amy's experience is so incredible, and I think like along the way from early on, her giving notes about what's going to land, reaching out, her thoughts on casting, her thoughts on marketing, her thoughts on, everything. dealing with an absolute legend. So I feel like anytime she's speaking, everybody in the room is just rapt and wants to hear what she has to say. I mean, it was really lovely having her on the project and to guide us and to be our sort of like cool ass bouncer. You know what I mean? That's just like watching out for our show, you know?
Is there any chance of getting the band back together? Because I believe Liz Moore's God of the Woods, which is like such a great read, is also in development.
Who's making that? Who the fuck is making that?
I think some of your fellow producers aren't
Yeah,
they?
no. Original film is. I'm not going to speak about Liz's that particular project.
Oh, it's a film.
No, it's not. But I'm not speaking about that project. I'm just going to say that I do know that original film, Neil Moritz and Pavan Shetty, who were a part of Long Bright River, are also on God of the Woods, as is Sony. So I think that Liz is continuing her relationship with Sony, and then she also has another book. I might as well just do Liz's press. She has another book in case anybody's interested. I think her third book, The Unseen World, is also at Sony for development. Yay, Liz!
Good job, Liz. We love Liz.
She's missing tonight.
Yeah,
She is. We miss her.
We're just gonna
Oh, she's in Philly.
fallen homie. Yeah, she's here in spirit.
Pour one out. I think we're out of time. But this has been so lovely.
Thank you for having me.